So we won't need to go on camera till the end, right?
Okay.
We're muted.
We are unmuted. Welcome in everybody who's joining us.
Hello, everybody. It's Shihan Gary and Sensei Ryan here. We're gonna wait a little while for everyone to kind of filter in, and we're hoping for a good turnout.
It was in an email. It's a random generated.
We need the code.
Yeah, I don't know offhand.
Where is it? Anybody that signed in, do you happen to know the code you just typed in? We just got a phone call and we're looking for it.
Meeting info. There we go. It's 836.
Just read it to them as you're doing it.
Hi, are you still having the error code? Okay, do you have the ID is like a random number.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, that makes my life a little bit easier.
Yes. Meaning is incorrect. Do you mind if I read the code to you? Okay. Can you make it big?
It's right on his screen, right there. We're not on camera, so you don't have to be shy.
Although the mic is live, so.
They can't hear you.
Can you see it,
They just can't see you.
Benz?
All right, 836 589 67461.
Yep. How many we got in there now?
22.
All right, not bad.
We still got about a minute. People are starting to filter in. For everyone who's here, if you guys want to type into chat your student's name so I can track the attendance of who's able to show, or the candidate's name, I suppose, because I see Christos's name, which.
We are recording this as well, so anybody that's not able to stay for the whole meeting, or if you miss it, you can come back and watch the recording. Or if you enjoy the presentation so much, you can come back and watch it over and over again. Closer so I can see what it's on. It's up to you guys if you want the students to join you. If the students are there and they want to join in, absolutely. This is mostly for the parents, but it definitely does not hurt if the students are involved in this as well. I can't read it if you put that all the way over there.
I'm trying to operate the PowerPoint at the same time here.
I know. Can you make that bigger? Why is that font so small?
Because it's my
I need
size.
to get right up on that screen.
They can hear you. The mic is literally in front of
I
you.
know. Let me move that over. Oh, we're up to 34. That's solid.
Yep.
Good.
And remember too that
Many of them are doubles.
some of them will probably not attend because they attended the meeting for the fall.
Sure.
We have about 40 students that were
that moved
carryover from the fall, so they may
Got
not
it.
feel the need to show up.
Okay. All right, we'll wait one more minute, guys, and we'll get started. Thank you for being patient. We've got a good turnout so far. We've got about 34 families in here with us right now. I believe there are
70 even.
70 even, but some of those are 2 in a family. So we're probably looking at a total of maybe 60 families that are testing. So to have 30, we're up to 35 now. So that's a good turnout, because we did get a few that were we knew couldn't make it.
Once we do get started, we'll try and hold questions until the end and then open up the chat for Q&A. So just to keep the chat under control, try and hold the questions till the end, just so we can see if we answer them in the presentation. We will also be navigating to the website at some point to point out some features that you guys can take advantage of on that as well. That'll be at the end of the PowerPoint.
We'll be using the website to show you some examples of what many of the other students have done for their projects, for their own katas. And it also will navigate over there to show you where you can get more information about the test as well. All right, I think we're ready to go. That number seems to have stabilized.
We'll see you, Vic, probably like a half an hour.
It's not mandatory for the kids to be present for the presentation, but if they're there, there's no reason why they shouldn't watch.
All right, let's get rolling.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
So preparing for the exam, we have requirements that we expect from everybody. We expect everyone to maintain a minimum attendance average of 3 classes per week. Now, this is a little different than before, when we had all the classes that everybody was able to attend and there was no real limitations, and you can show up when you wanted to and not show when you wanted to. It was pretty easy to maintain that level. So what we've done or allowed for the change and to adapt to where we are right now is your regular 2 classes plus additional classes. Whether those classes are live or Zoom, doesn't matter. But then you also have the ability to attend the regular classes that we run out of the Winchester School every day. And you can attend those. And those are run 5 days a week to pick up your extra classes. And we're just looking for an average of 3 classes. We are not looking for you to stick to 3, 3, 3. So if 1 week you do 4 1 week and then 2 the next week, that's absolutely okay. There is an attendance minimum requirement. If you are unsure about where you are as far as your attendance goes, once we get everybody squared away, we set up an area that everybody can view what their attendance is. We update it almost weekly, so you'll be able to see exactly where you are. If you were invited to this meeting, chances are you're on pace or ahead of pace. If you were not at least pretty close, we would not have put you on the list to invite you to the meeting in the first place. But we will put those numbers up when we get to it. We'll talk about the student portal in a little while. That gives you, it's an area where you're able to log in and see everything that's required for your student to participate in the test. Be punctual to all your classes with belt and gear, not that we are using any gear at the moment. Attend the required number of candidate classes. We will be setting up candidate classes. Everyone's required to attend a minimum of 2. Candidate classes are simply classes specifically for the students that are testing, that we are focusing only on techniques and things that they will need to know in the test, as well as working on their fitness levels. And then meet all of the deadlines as written on the schedule that you will be provided with. Next slide, please. Preparing for the exam. 1 full white uniform, a full set of sparring gear, and a water bottle. That is for the actual day of the exam. So no worries on worrying about that at this point, but that's just there for there. Physical requirements, all techniques from white to brown. There's different age brackets. What's that?
You can read down here.
I'm sitting here looking up at the ceiling.
You guys,
reading-
you guys can't see him, but he's trying to read off the
I'm trying
TV
to read
that's
off
on
the
the
big
ceiling.
monitor, and I'm blind as a bat, and it's right down on the small monitor in front of me. They just pointed that out to me now. All right. Well, a quick question. Someone had do Black Belt Club and leadership classes count towards the weekly minimum? Black Belt Club, no, because it's only a short extension, but leadership classes, yes, they do. All techniques from white to brown. These are the age brackets.
Yeah, this is just the prerequisites for the physical requirements, which is coming up on the next slide. Obviously, we're including all the techniques that you have learned in your belt ranking up to this point. So anything that you've learned in the few years you've been taking karate is up for grabs as far as requirements go. And there are specific printouts on the website you guys can check out. And then just listed here are the age brackets that we go by. If you're right on the edge, typically we'll put you up into the higher bracket. So if you're like 11 with your birthday in March mid-test, then you'll likely be a 12-year-old as far as the test goes. And same thing goes for 16.
So the running requirement will be what it is. The sparring requirement will be whatever we can make it be at the time. We had to modify our sparring at the last exam. So we will kind of, it's a wait and see as far as what we're going to do for the sparring.
There we go.
Yes, students can take classes at any location. Absolutely. These are the physical requirements. If you want to take a screenshot so you have them. If not, they're also posted on the website. Is that
Yes,
correct?
most of this information will also be available on the portal, which we'll show you guys afterwards. So this is a quick rundown.
But if you want to snap a picture with your phone, go right ahead. It's pretty simple and straightforward. This is a good thing for you to start working towards with the students. Make sure that they're working and building up to it. So hypothetically right now, if you have them do a wall sit and they can do 60 seconds, great. Then keep adding a couple of seconds each time until they can build up to that time. Okay. And again, all of this is up on the website. Each student has to create their own kata. Those of you that are in class, you'll have the opportunity and the ability to work with the instructors that are in the dojo to assist you with that and move you forward. Those of you that are doing Zoom, it is a little more difficult, but we will make sure that we can accommodate you. And we will be trying to accommodate everybody with, at the very least, Zoom private lessons. And those of you that can do it, if we can work out the times, we'll have regular private lessons as well to help everybody with their own kata. When we get to the end of the presentation, we're going to put on an example or two of what it looks like when someone creates their own kata and what it should look like. And we have high expectations for this. We want to see sharp, clean looking katas. We want it to look like someone put some effort into it. Some students like to write down their katas. Personally, I don't like that because then they end up relying on their notes. But if it helps them, it helps them. But when someone does their own kata and creates their own kata, we don't allow them to go back and look at notes. So it has to be in their head. The best way to create a kata is always one move at a time, not 10 moves at a time. Create one move a day, add 1 or 2 moves a day, no more. And that way it's easy to remember. They never get flustered. If they try to create a bunch of moves at a time, the next day they usually forgot them. Okay.
And just to clarify, if we do have any degrees in here, I didn't notice, this is for the black belts only. This is the first brown belt to black belt only requirement that we have in here at the moment.
Projects. This is another thing that's been difficult for many of the students on the last exam because they're limited now with what they can do and what's available to them. So some of us need to just get creative and come up with a fundraising project, a Good Samaritan project, a community service project. Any one of those things are options that you have to do. Being a black belt is not just something for yourself, it's something that you become a better person and you provide and give back to your community. We're going to show you some great examples at the end of the presentation of what some of the students did on the last one. Honestly, we had one student that I feel did the best project ever on this last go around.
And it was one of the, I think it is our example
It is our, okay,
And
great.
it is considered a Good Samaritan project by the standards that we have here, but it includes a little bit of everything, and is only defined as a Good Samaritan project because they were the ones who organized it themselves. They didn't go through another organization. So they
Great.
created it, organized it, and finished the project all within the family without having to work with or rely on external
Well-
organizations, which made it easier for them in the long run.
We'll show you that one at the end of the presentation. Okay. At the end of the exam, we used to have everybody submit a video, and then we would play the videos on a loop and watch them all during the extravaganza, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was great to see everybody's journey put into a 90-second video. But under the current circumstances and situation, we are giving everybody the option to either do an essay, just a one-page essay, or they can still do the video and submit it. It can be personal for just us to see. If you want us to post it, we can post it up on the website or through any of our other social media outlets. But it should define your journey as a martial arts student going from white belt to black belt.
And there are a few prompt questions in the website to help you better guide this. There's 3 questions that we ask students to answer. If it's a video, obviously they dictate the questions over the video, usually pictures of their journey. If it's an essay, then they just write a traditional essay answering those questions.
And again, we'll show you examples of a video at the end of the presentation. If you have 2 children that are testing, you can do one video, and we allow it to be a little longer, or you can do separate videos. It's totally your prerogative. Testing days and obstacle course. The day is divided into 3 parts: the basic fitness testing, the obstacle course, and then the sparring portion of the test. When the time comes, which will be late April, early May, if we are able to hold one big event in a big, huge venue like we are accustomed to doing, that is what we will do. If we are unable to do that, we will repeat the way we did it at this last go around, which was small groups of about 8 students testing at the Reading Dojo, which is our biggest location, in front of just Sensei Ryan and myself, and usually one of the other instructors. We rotate them through so that they can be around for their own students.
Either way, these 3 events will be on the same day. So basics and fitness testing, which includes everything that we talked about earlier, the exercises, push-ups, or push-ups, planks, that stuff. The endurance course, which you'll find out more about as you test, and then the sparring test or some variation of the sparring test. This will all take place on the same day, regardless of what format it's in. It just may be a little different depending on where we are at that point.
Okay. Dates to keep in mind. And again, all of this is and will be posted up on the website. And when you have access to the student portal, that you'll be able to view this, these checkpoints are on there as well. Right?
Correct. And they will continue to be updated. You'll notice that some points and some bullets only have a month. They do not have a specific date, the candidate classes being the main thing here. As we schedule these, we'll be sending regular checkup emails as well as live updating the portal on the website. So you guys will always have the most up-to-date reference material for what's going on with the test. So these are just general checkpoints. Really, you're focusing on the due dates here. The main highlights are the proposal due date, which is involved with your community service. All we ask for with that is to, is to have the students, I went to highlight, didn't work. To have the students write down a idea of what they would like their community service or Good Samaritan project to be, and then submit it to us as their first checkpoint. That one's coming up in January. And then you can kind of see the 5K date, the final date, as well as the general kata move check-ins here.
So some of these things are what we're hoping, but may not happen the way we want them to. So kata checkups will happen. They'll either happen in class when you're there, or we will ask you to submit a video and email it to us. Your proposal due, that will happen just on that day. You will submit a proposal to us via email and let us know what your ideas are, and we will either approve it or disapprove it and tell you to choose something else or tell you you're all set. The candidate classes will set the dates and those will happen. There will be hopefully some options to do some of those live. If not, most of them will be via Zoom. The 5K, if we can run the 5K, we will. If we can't, everybody will be responsible for running the 5K on their own and submitting documentation showing that they did it. We'll get more into details and you'll get information about that through some of the emails that'll start going out soon. The kata dates are set in stone. Those you will have to do. Again, you'll either do them in person or through video. Then essays, obstacle course basics, and extrav. As far as the extrav goes, I'm not too hopeful that April, May will be enough time for things to smooth over that we'll be able to hold an extravaganza. It's more likely things will be like they were last time. If we are able to hold some kind of extravaganza, I'm sure it will be limited participation. Whatever we do, if we do the testing the way we did this time with the small groups of 8 in the Reading Dojo, we do live stream it so that grandma, grandpa, and the rest of the family can still tune in and watch the whole thing live. It went very well. We had plenty of people tuning in at the last exam, so it was great.
Which kind of brings us into the final slide here, which is the extravaganza, which Shihan just covered, is subject to wherever we're at that given time. Before we get into questions here, I'm going to navigate to the website here and give you guys a quick couple things to look for. Just give me a moment while I switch my screen share here. All right. I might turn the camera on accidentally. I do apologize.
I'll look at some of the questions while he does that.
I think we've only had one other question come in. This should be pretty quick here. Here we go.
No, white uniform, Elizabeth. You just either have to borrow one or get one.
All right.
In the previous side of the proposal. Huh? I don't get that one.
Hang on.
Okay.
All right. So can everyone see the website now? I just want to make sure I switched here correctly. Someone mind giving me a confirmation in the chat?
So is the website up on the screen right now for everybody? Okay, great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right. So 2 areas that we want to make you guys aware of. Number 1, under members area, the Black Belt testing portal. This is where all of that information that we just went over is housed. So if you're on desktop, it'll look like this. If you're on mobile, each one of these boxes will just be stacked on top of each other in a column, but the general setup is the same. At the top is my direct email here. Myself and Shihan deal with a lot of the black belt testing directly. And so if you guys want a direct line of communication for questions, clarifications, submissions down the line, this is going to be the best email for you guys to reach me at. So if you guys want to jot it down or just note where it is located. Each one of these boxes deals with a different aspect of the test. Most of it we just went over in the slideshows. But we'll take the dates tab, for instance. The pictures are the things that are linked, just a weird nuance of the website. So if you click on the picture, you should get a pop-up here that includes the information pertinent to that thing. These are the dates that we just went over, and as this should be very similar to the slideshow. Scrolling down here, our physical requirements list. Again, same as the slideshow, but at the bottom here is a little bit more of a detailed kata guide, as well as an example kata of one of our graduates from previous years. This is actually at the tournament. They presented their kata during the tournament.
Let's play it.
But you guys can.
So I'll talk you through it as she's going here. So sharp techniques, nice loud key eyes. and that's a good example of what we expect a black belt kata that's being created to look like.
I know there's a couple questions on the proposal. I'm answering that right now with our next example. So under the Black Belt Projects tab, we outline with a little bit more detail what we mean by community service, Good Samaritan, and fundraising, along with some examples. And then at the bottom of this, under the red line here, is our example project that Shihan discussed. We will go through, I'll go through this quickly, but you guys can dissect in a little more detail on your own. But for those looking for an example of a project proposal, this top part here is an example of one that was sent in. It's just a quick paragraph outlining what the individual would like to do, what organization they want to work with, emailed or submitted at the studios. Final submissions for the projects are dependent on what the project is. If it's a community service project, it may be as simple as a record of hours put in. In this case, the student did a fundraiser utilizing a website. So their final submission was the fundraiser totals as well as their website, which you guys can see here. And this particular project got some local news coverage. So we actually have the interview and article linked down below here for that student.
I always suggest that you pick something that means something to you. Choose something that it's important to you. For this young lady, she really loved animals, and she got into the project so much that it made more than she can ever imagine. The returns were great. She felt great. And she ended up continuing to work with the organization afterwards because she enjoyed what she did so much.
All right. And then the final place where you'll find example material is under the journey reflection. This is the Black Belt essay section where the prompts are located. So I have the Black Belt prompt here highlighted on my screen. And then for degrees, if there are any degrees here, I do have a slightly different prompt for you here. And then as Shihan mentioned, we do have 2 example videos below, which you guys can flip through from previous candidates.
So let's try to go back up a little bit for some of the questions.
Yep. So this hits the questions now. I know I answered the proposals. We've had 2 questions about next round of testing. So our second round following the spring exam will be our normal fall testing time period, which would be September to December.
Through December. Yeah.
Will be the next black belt round after this one.
Okay.
So I know we had a couple questions where that would be the time frame, if that is something that you guys want to push to, but you received this email, just shoot me an email to the email listed on the website saying you'd like to defer, and we can make that adjustment as well.
Yes, the black belt proposal is just a simple 1-paragraph proposal. You can email it or handwrite it and bring it into your instructor. Yes, this video will be posted online.
Degrees will have extensions on the candidate class, Sherry, but we didn't do standalone classes. The question is, do degrees have separate candidate classes? We did extensions dealing with just their individual material, but a lot of the basics and physical stuff does have some carryover.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, we work with them together during the candidate class.
The question about your son didn't test last December because of the number of cases. Are we planning on doing an outdoor testing? The idea of doing an outdoor testing is out there. We're dealing with a really interesting time of year for when it'll happen. If it's possible, absolutely we will. If it's not possible, we'll have Reading as the backup. But yeah, if we can do an outdoor testing, we will.
And it is in the conversation to do our very best to provide at least one outdoor test, weather allowing, for those who are tentative. I know we had a few people from last year who were looking for that option. So we will do our best with that.
Do we get breaks between the jumping jacks? Yes, you get a fraction of a second break in between each jumping jack.
Generally, no, Dia. Generally, it is straight through.
You need to average 3 sessions a week, your 2 regular classes, and then you'll need to pick up You'll be doing a candidate class here and there. You'll also have to pick up some of the webinar classes, or even do a stored online class and just let us know that you did it.
Yep, those all count. Spring testing date is not decided yet for the actual testing day. The dates we have picked out were shared on the presentation, and as we're able to solidify more dates, we will send out update emails regularly to all of the candidates in regarding that. Right now, we're looking at, as Shihan said, late April, early May as the time frame. Candidate classes will be identified on the website, and we'll send out links with the emails. As of right now, we don't have dates picked out, which is why there's no specifics yet. But as we are able to schedule those, we will let you guys know with as much heads up as humanly possible.
You'll be getting at the very least one email per week that's directed just towards black belt and degree candidates that are giving you updates and reminders on everything that's happening.
In regards to the 5K, is there a date when they have to do the 5K, or anytime before March 30th? That depends whether we're able to run the charity event. In previous years, we've done the 5K as one event that the kids have run together on a specific date. If that is not possible with the circumstances, then we will have a alternate where you guys will record a 5K on your own and submit it to us. But we're holding off on making a decision on that for a bit longer, just to see if there's any indication where we will be in March.
In order to add a second parent so that you're both getting the updates, email the main mailbox, efkinfo@gmail, and just ask that this second email be added. Make sure you note that please add this second email so that they don't remove the first one.
There's a question asking if degrees need to do the projects. So as far as the requirements go, degrees are expected to do a video or essay submission with the varied prompt. They are also expected to do a black belt project, whether that be community service, Good Samaritan, it is up to them. Degrees are not expected to do another kata, and their physical requirements are slightly different, although still there. So yes, for the project as well as the essay for degrees.
Can't see the question.
Yep, I'm doing my best here.
Move that box.
Well, I don't know if it's screen sharing or not. He was eligible. Sorry if I missed your answer on this. I believe my son was told he was eligible for the December test, but if he is on this call, April is the correct date for him. Yes, we had a number of students that were potentially eligible in December, but opted to hold off. This is the next available test. So if you were eligible in December, you are eligible for April as well, should you choose to test. Oh, next December. Sorry, didn't clarify. Yes, I don't believe I checked off people for next December. What might have happened, guys, is some of you were told you were testing December 2021 before we had a spring exam on the books. The spring exam came out of nowhere. So there were a few candidates that were allowed to test a bit earlier.
Teresa, yes. Victor does need to run another 5K. Nobody else does, just him. I'm just kidding. Victor does not need to do it again. If he's already completed that part of his exam, he's all set.
Yes. So on that note, and anyone who was eligible or started the testing in the fall and then deferred for whatever reason, your requirements did carry over. Although I will recommend for physical requirements, just because we are about 6 months out from that time, while you may have already passed the 5K or whatever recording we're discussing in this time, make sure you're still training, because the endurance still is needed for the actual test.
Absolutely.
So,
and Teresa, I think that's a great idea. I think he should run it with Luge. I was initially told that there was a March testing. March testing is the April-May testing. When we say March testing, that just means the beginning of the actual exam, and it runs for a 3-month period. So most candidates pass your test.
Most candidates.
That's a good question.
Yeah, most candidates who reach the
when you reach the final day, yes, many students will end up, I guess, delaying their test if they feel like they're just not prepared or ready. Once the test begins, some students are honest with themselves and they say, I just am not ready for this yet. Once they start going through the requirements and the physical aspect of it, and they say, I can't do it yet, and they'll remove and move on to the next exam. Very few people, once they get to the actual exam, will fail, but it does happen. The last go around, we had, how many do we have testing?
To start with?
Yes, no, when we start the actual at the exams, like 80,
Oh yeah, 80.
but
Yeah.
about 80 kids and students, I shouldn't say kids, and 2 of them did fail.
But to clarify Shihan's point, we started with 190 eligible candidates and only ended up testing 80 because of, you know, the requirements as we go. So that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
And some of those 190 are in this meeting, you know, going for the spring exam.
Sure,
So,
many of you in this meeting were not comfortable with the testing, so you wanted to hold off. Some of you just weren't ready, so you wanted to hold off. So there's all kinds of reasons. Do you have an age bracket within the junior group below 10?
no, the junior group is just anything below 12. Then there's the 12 to 16 bracket and then 16 and up. So 3 age brackets for the testing.
Does it say 10 to 12 in there?
No, I think it just says under 12.
Okay.
I believe the costs for the test is listed on the important dates tab, but I could be wrong about that. I will double check and make sure that that's posted for you guys. It is in the portal somewhere. I just don't remember where offhand.
What is the most common reason students fail the exam? Almost every student that's failed a black belt exam, it's been because of lack of energy and charisma and drive. If someone makes a mistake on their front kick or a self-defense move, those can all be corrected and fixed, and we can talk about the adjustments on that stuff. What I can't fix or tolerate is lack of energy, charisma, and just desire to be a black belt. So if someone comes in and they've got all the energy in the world, but they make a mistake or two on the techniques, that I can let go, but I can't let somebody being lazy go.
We also have a question, which I forgot to go over on the website. Checking up on candidates' availability, stripes, attendance. I will send out an email as well regarding this, but in the members area, for those who can still see my screen here for the website, the Black Belt Progress Tracker is a place that you can opt to have your students tracked in. It will list their name as well as all of their requirements with a complete or an incomplete note there. So you guys can live track where they are on our end and make sure that you're staying up to date on your requirements. That is a place where we will update the attendance counts for each student about every week or two. So you guys can track if you're on pace to reach the attendance and so on and so forth. So right now there's nothing in there and I won't click on it because I think it's going to prompt me to log in and all kinds of nonsense. But we will send out an opt-in option probably tomorrow to which you guys can respond, and then that'll start being updated with your pertinent information to your test. So that is another spot to notice.
Tracy, to answer your question, hopefully both, definitely virtual, hopefully in person as well. Go back to the other one.
Yep.
Possible students work on a portion of the test. Yeah, but then choose to defer if they're, yes, absolutely. Many of the students that are in this exam did much of their test. They completed many of the requirements and then realized they wanted to hold off. So those requirements do carry over to the next exam. Victor's a good example. I know Victor ran his 5K and did some of his other requirements. He'll only be required to do what he did not complete.
For those who can't read the question, it was asked if any requirements are done now, but then the student chooses to defer, will those requirements be carried over or lost? They will be carried over. Once something is done, once something's done in past, it is done in past.
Is the physical requirements listed in the previous slide all done in one session? Yes. Yep, all in one session, one day. We do give you breaks and we break it up in between different techniques and parts of the exam, but all of those requirements are done in one day.
Yeah, the actual testing day is a long day. It's a tiring day. It's a tough test, and everything will happen on there. What is the age of candidates taking the black belt exam? It depends. I would say the youngest average age is,
It's all over the place.
yeah, I mean, the average age is probably 10 to 12 would be the average, but we've had students as young as 8 on the exam. We have plenty of adults come in. I would say typically the youngest age that we'll see on an exam is 8. We don't usually get younger than that. And that's usually the students that started when they were like 3.
Right. Anything else? You're welcome.
We'll give it another minute, guys, for questions. Oh, there we go.
Yes, that'll get posted on the student portal once we have it up.
No worries. Yeah, so to answer the class question, that's the portal that I was talking about. I will send an opt-in email so you guys can choose to be put on the tracker. And once you choose, you'll be able to find all of the requirements as well as where you stand under the black belt progress tracker. My cursor is kind of moving over it on the screen share if you can see it. That will have attendance, it'll have your requirements, it'll have everything that you need.
Yes, we are gonna, we've been slowly bringing back the boot camps, and if things stay safe and we're able to, we will hold camps in February, every day at every location. Obviously, they'll be very small, but that would be definitely something we're going to be doing. Yes, I know this is overwhelming, and I am sorry. And the fact that we're not able to meet in person and have everybody together makes it even more overwhelming. Ryan and I are at your disposal. Please email us, call us, lean on us with questions. We do not by any means feel bugged or bothered. We want to make sure this is an easy, smooth process for everybody. So don't hesitate to call us or zip us an email. We are at your disposal.
Yeah. And again, guys, if you have any specific questions or you're worried about anything, the email at the top of this portal, again, I'm highlighting it on our screen, is my direct email. You can direct any questions you have to me. I'd be more than happy to help you guys and be a resource through the testing. We do have a strength test of the candidate before the classes. We will do a fitness assessment, usually midway through the test, which we'll let you guys know about, which gives you a ballpark as to where you are with all of your requirements. And the candidate classes also act as checkpoints to make sure that you're on pace. So we will absolutely be double checking to make sure everyone's on the right pace before the day of the test. That will not be dropped on you last minute.
No, you don't need to call Kate to get onto the student portal. Sensei Ryan's going to send out an email in the morning, and then all you have to do is respond to his email that says opt in, and then he will move you to the live portal that you'll be able to see everything. But if you'd like to call Kate to bug her, we're always happy to have Kate be bothered.
Yes, I'm trying my best to do that. How we do sparring is one of the requirements. It does depend on where we will be at that time. This past exam, we did a sparring variation involving heavy bags and more combination and endurance work.
We turned it more into a stamina test where everybody had their own heavy bag, and we did rounds, and we would call out different commands and things for them to do. We would occasionally walk around and hit the bag into them, and that was pretty much as physical as we can get. Definitely not my preference, but it's all we were able to do. If we're able to improve that this next time around, we certainly will.
Someone asked, what's the direct website where all the info will be listed? It is the elitefreestylekarate.com website. So it's our studio site. It's just the studioname.com. And then from the homepage, just navigate to the members area and then down to the black belt testing tab. And that will be your portal for most of this information. Weapons will not be required for any portion of the exam unless they choose to do it in their kata. No,
except for degrees. Degrees will be required.
Yes, degrees. You have a kata that it requires a weapon. So
Is a black uniform acceptable? No, everybody has to test in a white uniform. The 2 candidate classes required to be in person. No, the candidate classes will be most likely virtual, but live virtual, not like this webinar. And we will possibly try to hold some type of live candidate classes that will be optional, of course. Hold down.
Can we go to class with since we start training with all that changes?
I'm not sure I understand. the
Yeah,
question.
Vic, I don't understand your question. Would you mind rewording it just so I'm clear? Someone asked, are the 2 classes per week in person? It depends what you're attending right now. If you're a Zoom student, those Zoom classes do account for attendances. So that's fine to continue attending online as well as your in-person lessons.
Do you think the black belt and first degree could be at the same time, or do they test differently? Most likely differently. I know you have a candidate and a degree, so it depends how it falls and where our numbers are and how many we're allowed to have at the exam. I'm not saying no or it's impossible, but it's not likely. But as we get closer, I'll know better.
Can siblings work on the same community project? Yes, we
Yes.
do allow multiple students to work on the same project as long as the workload is being split and they're putting in equal effort to the project. I don't want to see, one sibling doing most of it and the other one just tacking their name on it. But if both of them are putting in the work on the project, absolutely. And that goes for non-siblings too. If we've had black belts team up in the past to get stuff done.
Yeah, if you have a good friend that you're testing with, or people you've been in class with for years, and you want to team up for a project, that's absolutely encouraged. No, someone's
read the
asking
question
if
first.
there's an option for online testing. No, we're definitely, we thought about that at the last go around and it just was not possible for us to feel comfortable promoting someone to black belt that way.
Are there any private classes available? There are some through our normal
Yeah.
normal availability, although they are limited and first come, first serve. So
And we are in the process of trying to expand the availability for private lessons. And we will, once we do expand that, we will give an allotment to all of the candidates because that's important to me that you guys get the attention that you need for the test.
does EIT classes count towards the class count? Yes, they do. What is the deadline submission for the projects? I believe it's April 17th is the final deadline for most of the long-term things, that being the essay, the 36 move kata, and the projects. That way everyone is completed with most of their requirements prior to when we plan to have the graduation and the test. So that way things can move forward efficiently. Dia, yes, leadership classes do count towards your class count.
Delete that top one. Isn't that it, guys? All right, so we will send an email out first thing tomorrow morning with some more information and all of the links to get to everything that we discussed today, as well as you'll just be able to respond to that email and say opt in, and that way we'll put you up on the student portal that you can see everything. Can the project proposal be changed midway if the proposal did?
Yes, Vic, or the question is, can a project be changed halfway if the proposal is, or can the proposal change if a project doesn't work out? Yes, you can switch midway through. Usually just communicate with me that things are not working out and you need to adjust, and we can absolutely make that happen.
Yes, the first thing that's due is your project proposal, and that's due at the end of the month.
Yeah, the
Correct.
31st of January, giving you guys about 2 weeks, which is our normal time frame. That will be your first major due date in the exam, which we'll outline tomorrow in the update email as well as a reminder. I know this was a lot of information tonight.
Yeah, don't feel, I know, like someone said earlier, it does feel overwhelming. It's not nearly as bad as it seems, or as difficult as much as it seems. And we are going to have constant communication and constant contact with you to make sure everybody stays up to speed.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be in touch with an email tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We look forward to working with you guys over the next few months on this big step in your journey.
Thank you for attending, everybody. Good luck. And again, don't hesitate to send us emails with questions, concerns, or if you need help with anything. Moms, dads, if you need some advice or help on how to best assist the kids, let us know and we'll be right there for you.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Good night, everybody.